Today, we are going to present the paper Improving Adversarial Robustness for Recommendation Models via Cross-Domain Distribution Adversarial Training. I am Manasvi and my teammate Tanisha are going to present the paper. First is the problem solved. The problem addressed in the paper focuses on the adversarial vulnerability of recommendation models. Recommendation systems, particularly which are based on deep learning, they are widely used to personalize content and suggestions across various domains, such as e-commerce and media platforms. But these models are highly susceptible to adversarial attacks, where malicious inputs known as adversarial examples are slightly modified to deceive the model. These these are small and seemingly imperceptible perceptions can cause the recommendation system to make incorrect predictions, which can significantly reduce the performance and the reliability of the model. So, the core problems that this paper aims to solve are first is data sparsity. Recommendation system, recommendation models heavily rely on interaction data. Interaction data can include ratings, purchases, clicks, and the model uses this data to make personalized suggestions. However, in many real-world applications, data sparsity is a very widespread issue. The lack of sufficient data limits the effectiveness of adversarial training, which traditionally requires large data sets to generate high-quality adversarial examples and can improve the model robustness. So, when interaction data is sparse, traditional ATM methods are less effective at protecting the recommendation models against adversarial examples. So, this leads to suboptimal adversarial robustness. Existing models can't generate enough meaningful adversarial examples to train the system to defend against future attacks. The second problem that this paper aims to solve is suboptimal adversarial robustness. Existing adversarial training methods for recommendation models typically apply point-wise perturbations to individual user embeddings or item embeddings. So, what this means is that the perturbation is applied uniformly, treating all samples as equally vulnerable to adversarial attacks. However, not all items or users are equally susceptible to adversarial examples, as the sensitivity of the perturbations can vary across different data points. So, point-wise perturbation often produce low-quality adversarial examples because they fail to account the varying degrees of susceptibility across different users or items. As a result, recommendation models trained on these perturbations do not develop optimal robustness against adversarial attacks. So, this paper addresses these problems by proposing cross-domain distributional adversarial training, CDAT. This is a novel AT method that overcomes both the data sparsity issue and the limitations of point-wise perturbations. So the key innovation of this paper is transferring distributional adversarial robustness from one domain auxiliary to another target. By doing this, the system improves adversarial robustness in the target domain, even when it suffers from data sparsity. Additionally, the joint perturbation approach helps to generate higher quality adversarial examples compared to the traditional point-wise methods. So this makes the recommendation model more robust. The solution that the authors proposed enhances the overall security and reliability of recommendation systems in adversarial settings, particularly in cases where the target domain has sparse interaction data. Coming to the dataset that is used, the datasets used to evaluate CDAT method are Ruban and Amazon. So these datasets are commonly used for recommendation system research because they cover multiple domains and include a mix of rich and sparse user interactions. So this is suitable for cross-domain recommendation tasks. So coming to a Duban dataset, Duban dataset is derived from a Chinese social networking service, Duban. So this includes user interaction with various forms of media such as books, movies, and music. For these experiments that the authors conducted, they used two cross-domain recommendation scenarios. One is a movie book. In this scenario, user interaction with movies from the auxiliary domain, which is rich in data, while the user interaction with books represent the target domain, sparse data. And also the second is movie music. Similarly, this scenario uses movies as the auxiliary domain and music as a target domain. The goal in the scenarios is to improve the recommendation performance and adversarial robustness in the target domains, which are books and music, where there is a relatively lower number of user interactions by transferring knowledge from the auxiliary domain, movies, which has a higher interaction history. The second dataset that the authors use is the Amazon dataset. So this Amazon dataset is a large-scale dataset consisting of user reviews and domains with various product categories on Amazon. In the study, the authors created one cross-domain recommendation scenario, which is a TV-CD scenario. In this scenario, the interaction with TV-related products like TV accessories, TVs, etc., form the auxiliary domain, and the interaction with CDs form the target domain. And the goal is also to enhance the adversarial robustness and recommendation accuracy in the sparse CD domain by transferring knowledge from the TV domain. The combination of the data-rich auxiliary domains and data-sparse target domains in these datasets allows CDAT to demonstrate its ability to transfer adversarial robustness across domains, making the target domain models more robust and accurate despite limited data. Now, my friend Tanisha is going to continue with the solution characteristics and
The proposed solution for a problem is cross-domain distributional adversarial training or CDAT, which addresses two key challenges in recommendation systems, that is data sparsity and adversarial robustness. CDAT combines training across cross-domain and distributional adversarial training to improve recommendation models. It leverages rich data from an auxiliary domain to strengthen the model's robustness in a data-sparse target domain. It also creates cross-domain adversarial examples by jointly perturbing domain invariant user preferences, providing effective defense while maintaining performance. The technical details of CDAT include a base model, which is a recommendation framework, and CDAT operates within a base recommendation model, which consists of two key components. The first is user and item embeddings, where each user and item in the system is represented as a lower dimensional embedding vector, and the embeddings are obtained through a lookup table on learnable matrices. Then the interaction prediction network. The base model predicts the likelihood that a user will interact with a particular item. This is done through a multi-layer perceptron that takes the concatenated user and item embeddings as input and outputs and interaction score. So the model is trained using a pairwise ranking laws commonly used in recommendation systems to optimize ranking accuracy. Then comes the domain adversarial network, which is responsible for learning domain invariant user preferences, allowing knowledge transfer from an auxiliary domain to a target domain. DAN consists of the following components, which is domain invariant preference encoder, domain discriminator, and shares users and domain alignment. The third is cross-domain adversarial example generative network, which generates adversarial examples that are designed to attack the model by perturbing the domain invariant user preferences. It consists of adversarial example generator. This network takes the domain invariant preference embeddings learned by Dan and generates cross-domain adversarial examples by perturbing them. The second is adversarial example discriminator. To ensure that the adversarial examples are hard to detect, a discriminator is used to minimize the difference between the original domain invariant preference embeddings and the adversarial examples. Then the optimization process, where the target examples are evaluated by the recommendation models in both target and auxiliary domains. The goal of this example generator is to maximize the recommendation losses in both the domains. Fourth part is the adversarial training process. This is the final step, which involves using three adversarial examples to adversarially train the recommendation model. The process is as follows: training set generation, The adversarial examples generated by CDAN are fed into recommendation model and a new training set of adversarial examples is created. Second is adversarial loss optimization. The recommendation model is trained using a min-max optimization where the adversarial example maximizes the recommendation loss. The fifth part is the optimization objectives, which optimizes the overall CDAT, and it involves multiple components such as DAN loss, CDAN loss, recommendation loss, and adversarial recommendation loss. The total optimization objective is a combination of all these factors, aiming to achieve both generalization performance in normal conditions and robustness under adversarial attacks. Some solution characteristics of CDAT are cross-domain learning for adversarial robustness, which has knowledge transfer, which is a key feature of CDAT, and its ability to transfer adversarial robustness from data-rich auxiliary domains to data-sparse target domain. Then the joint perturbation of user preferences, which has a distributional perturbation, where unlike traditional adversarial training methods that use point-wise perturbation, CDAT applies joint perturbation. This means the perturbations are applied to entire distribution of user preferences, ensuring that adversarial examples are more aggressive and effective at degrading the model's performance. Then the min-max optimization, which is CDAT employs a min-max optimization approach, and the generator aims to create adversarial examples that maximizes the recommendation loss. The application across multiple domains. This solution applies to scenarios where there are two related domains, one richer in data and poorer in data. The auxiliary domain provides robust adversarial examples and domain knowledge that can be used to protect the target domain, making it highly versatile in real-world applications. Some of the evaluations and results of the CDAT model is it demonstrates superiority over traditional adversarial training methods such as APR, DAT, and ACDN in terms of both recommendation accuracy and adversarial robustness, as well as even in the sparsest domains where data is minimal, CDAT outperforms other methods by transferring robustness from auxiliary domains. The results and impacts of the proposed CDAT is it demonstrates superiority in both adversarial robustness and recommendation accuracy when compared to the state-of-art methods, and where in terms of data sets and scenarios, CDAT was evaluated on two real-world data sets, which is Duban. This data set includes 3 cross-domain recommendation scenarios: movie book, movie music, and Amazon. And the scenario here is TV CD, where TV is the auxiliary domain and CD is the target domain. In all scenario, the auxiliary domain is data rich while the target domain suffers from data sparsity. The performance matrices. The performance of CDAT and baseline methods was evaluated using two standard recommendation metrics, which is the hit ratio, measures how often the correct item, the one the user interacted with, is present in the top recommendations, and the normalized discounted cumulative gain, a ranking sensitive metric that gives higher weight to hits that appear higher in the top recommendations. The experiment also included evaluations under adversarial attacks, where the robustness of recommendation models was tested against several adversarial attack methods. The first was FGSM, that is sparse gradient sign method, a simple attack that perturbs model parameters to degrade performance. The second is PGD, projected gradient descent, a stronger iterative attack that applies small and repeated perturbations. Third is advanced GN, a more sophisticated generative adversarial network based attack that generates examples optimized to mislead the model. The key findings of the results can be broken down into two major aspects, which are your recommendation accuracy and adversarial robustness. So under clean conditions, that is without adversarial attacks, CDAT consistently achieved higher hit ratio and NDCG scores compared to other methods such as APR, DAT, and ACDN. And for example, in the movie book scenario, CDAT achieved an HR of 39.4%, while APR and DAT reached only 38.2%. In the adversarial robustness, CDAT demonstrated remarkable improvements in defending against adversarial attacks in all scenarios. While in the movie book scenario, under the PGD1 attack, a strong attack with a high perturbation strength, CDAT's HR was 36.98 compared to 25.29 for APR and 27.39 for DAT. This indicates that CDAT was able to maintain a higher level of recommendation accuracy even when the model was under significant adversarial pressure, showing its robustness. The impacts of this model comes to the improved adversarial robustness that includes the cross-domain knowledge transfer. And CDAT's most significant impact is in its ability to transfer this robustness from a data-rich auxiliary domain to a data-sparse target domain. This is crucial for real-world applications where certain recommendation domains, that is books or niche products, may lack sufficient data, making them vulnerable to adversarial attacks. The second is better defense against the attacks. So the joint perturbation of user preference in CDAT ensures that adversarial examples are more harmful and effective at improving the model's defenses. The higher recommendation accuracy in sparse domains saw that CDAT not only improves robustness, but also boosts recommendation accuracy. And the broader applicability of the CDAT model is that its approach of using distributional perturbation and cross-domain learning can be generalized to a wide variety of domains, making it applicable to many real-world recommendation systems. Whether the recommendation system deals with books, music, or products, CDAT can improve both robustness and accuracy across different datasets and contexts. Coming to the security and reliability, in terms of impact on the security of online recommendation systems, CDAT provides a strong defense mechanism against these attacks. And this is especially important for commercial platforms that rely heavily on personalized recommendations, such as e-commerce, streaming services, and social media platforms. And a more robust recommendation system means fewer opportunities for malicious actors to exploit vulnerability, leading to a more secure environment for users and businesses. The potential to scale with CDAT's approach is computationally feasible and can scale to large data sets, making it suitable for industry scale recommendation systems. And this ability to leverage cross-domain learning and share adversarial robustness across domains add to its scalability, making it a potential transformative approach for platforms like multiple recommendation domains. Thank you.